Hello, hello, hello. This is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere, and it is time to return to Germany to Gabriel Knight to the Beast Within. Now, we had a little problem happen before, and I was able to get the game bugged on me. Now, I was able to get past that part. So we're going to resume basically right past that part. I'm going to head back to, because Grace will not take the silver heart from the casket unless she talks to Gerda first. Which is actually reasonable. She put it there, so we should ask her permission first.
Gerda, I have something to ask you. It's really awful.
What is it?
You know the silver heart you got for Wolfgang's casket?
Yes.
If I paid you to have another one made, do you think I could take the one at St. George's?
It's for Gabriel, isn't it?
Yes.
Take it. Wolfgang will understand.
Thank you so much, Gerda.
Okay, so she understands taking the heart. We did the first, we talked to her first. Which, she's a good soul, Gerda is. So now we go back to the church and we get the heart. Okay. There is a parishioner. And we go here to Wolfgang Ritter and we take the heart.
Thanks, Gerda. And Wolfgang.
Good souls, that's what it is. And now, we must head to Altole.
Gabriel won't be needing his car.
Yes, we know he won't be needing his car right now. But it is time to move things along. Now, depending on how this plays out, how fast things go, we may end up finishing the game. We may not. I do not know yet. Alright.
Hello.
These are monks who definitely took a vow of silence. So we now show him.
I'd like to make a prayer, Father.
Now, As he bows, goes to make the prayer. Don't worry, we will. We know what to do now. That's the
I
penitent.
think the box is penitent.
Yes, we know. It's a box for penitent offerings, like a silver heart. Now, Grace is a very scientific-minded person. She does not put all,
Take this gift. I can know why I'm here. I apologize for thinking I violated your shrine. But you know I need to get inside Luke's arm. I think you want to help him and Gabriel. Gabriel may be egotistical and selfish. He's got a good heart, I think. He doesn't deserve the curse. Help me help both of them. Please listen.
At least she's not entirely a skeptic. They sensed it too. Now. We open the door.
I hope this works. I only have a few seconds.
Yeah, you do. So we're gonna move that chair. Bottom urn, I believe. We need to get the bottom left. Yep, that's the right one. And we have the last part of the Lost Opera. Amazing she's able to do that with the whole room plunged in darkness, nobody hearing her. She got her answers. But I don't think he fully understood. At least not yet. It's the Lost Opera. Two months later, for Kommissar Lieber and Baron Friedrich von Glauer. Okay. This is a big night. Now, what do we have here? Did I look at this already? Yeah, we did look at that already. Alright, so now... let us see what we have to do here. Let's grab a pamphlet here. Okay, let's read that program.
The Curse of Engelhart by Richard Wagner. Act 1.
Hmm.
Many years ago in a small German village there lived a young man named Engelhart. Engelhart was a lowly blacksmith's apprentice. He was fair-faced, but by nature gentle and shy. Being orphaned, and having lived with the blacksmith in virtual slavery since his parents died, Engelhart had nothing in the world to claim as his own. Nothing, that is, but an amazing talent. For 10 years, the beautiful and much-desired wares that had passed for the blacksmith's own had actually been produced by Engelhart. The blacksmith, a greedy and vain man, was determined to keep this a secret. He forbade Engelhart to ever work the metal in front of another soul, on pain of death. But the blacksmith's ingratitude went further still. He was so plagued with envy of Engelhart's talents that he treated Engelhart like a lazy and worthless dog.
He's a bastard.
The other villagers, assuming that the blacksmith's behavior toward Engelhart must be deserved, followed suit. Now in the same town there lived a rich baron. The baron maintained a patronly and righteous face with the villagers, but it was rumored that he was actually unspeakably cruel and wicked. There was also a young maiden, Hildegunde, who was lovely and good-hearted. Hildegunde was the only one who took pity on Engelhart and was kind to him. Engelhart loved Hildegunde madly, but was too shy and too penniless to even speak of it. In the first act, we learn that Hildegunde's parents, blinded by the prospective fortune, have betrothed her to the Baron. When Hildegunde learns of this, she is terrified and protests that the Baron is reputed to be evil, but her parents brush this off as jealous rumors and demand her obedience. Poor Hildegunde is too good to defy her parents' wishes, and so she reluctantly agrees. The Baron, with great public ceremony, sends Hildegunde a betrothal gift of a silver jewelry box. Hildegunde, overcome by her fear and anger at the betrothal, casts the jewelry box into the fire. She is immediately remorseful and pulls it out, but it is too late. The delicate silver has been badly marred. Hildegunde fears for her life when she sees the damage. She is afraid the blacksmith would report the damage to the Baron, so she approaches Engelhart and begs him to help her. Engelhart thinks of his master's warning, but determines to disregard it for Hildegunde's sake. He melts down the silver and constructs another box even more beautiful than the first. When Hildegunde sees his great artistic skill, she falls in love with him. The two come together in an aria of love, but their bliss is momentary. What about the betrothal? The young couple, knowing the Baron will never relinquish his claim, decide to run away. Act 2. The Baron learns of Hildegunde and Engelhart's disappearance. He is so furious that he hires hunters to track the pair down. Hildegunda and
Bastard.
Engelhart are found and arrested. In a public trial, Hildegunda pleads their case in a stirring aria. She tells the townspeople of Engelhart's great skill and his mistreatment by the blacksmith. She tells them Engelhart is good and kind. The blacksmith should be turned out for his evils and Engelhart given the shop. Then she and Engelhart could marry and live in peace with their neighbors. Her parents chose a groom for her, but she begs to be allowed her own choice. It is then the Baron's turn to speak. He declares that he has been terribly injured, a victim of a wayward girl. His marriage claim was first. There can be no other. He implies that if the villagers do not help him make it right, he will remove his aid from the village coffers. Then the Baron turns to Engelhart. By the rights of the injured, the Baron announces he is empowered to set a curse. The Baron curses Engelhart with a terrible and ancient malady, that whenever the moon shines in the night, Engelhart will become a marauding wolf. The village is terrified of wolves and has been plagued for many years by a local renegade wolf which has taken the lives of many children. The Baron further declares that because he is merciful, he will still marry Hildegunda, but not until she renounces Engelhart with her own words. Until she does, he will keep her safe from further shame by locking her up in a small room at the top of his house. The villagers naturally side with the Baron. Hildegunda goes to her prison, and Engelhart does indeed become a wolf at night. At first Engelhart is hated and feared by the villagers. They make the sign of the evil eye at him and will not tolerate his presence in town. But soon, rumors start to circulate about Engelhart the wolf. It seems he is always careful not to harm any human being nor any domestic stock. In fact, he even does some good for the villagers. He scares away bandits and he keeps the renegade wolf at bay. No more children are lost to the fangs of the night. Engelhart's kindness shines through even the dire nature of his curse. Hildegunda, meanwhile, still loves Engelhart as much as ever, whatever curse he might be under, and whatever acts that curse might force him to commit. When she hears of Engelhart's successful mastery of the curse, she dedicates herself to him forever. Hildegunda tells the Baron that she will never renounce Engelhart. The Baron's plan having collapsed before him, having given Engelhart dignity rather than removed it, he flies into a rage. He tells Hildegunda that he will marry her anyway, and on the morrow at that. She will become his wife or her parents' life will be forfeit.
Oh boy, he's a bastard, isn't he?
Act 3. The final act begins with the wedding feast for Hildegunda and the Baron. Hildegunda has cooperated due to her fear for her parents' lives, but now that the service is over, she is horrified to find herself that Baron's wife, and is mourning her final separation from Engelhart. After her poignant opening aria, the Baron approaches her and tries to draw her back to the party. He calls for the entertainment, hoping to cheer her up. In strides a traveling show of minstrels. They wear comic costumes and full face paint and immediately proceed to play and juggle for the crowd. One of them, a mime with a tragic frown painted on his face, seems to want to hover near and amuse the bride. She keeps brushing him off, clearly depressed and tearful, and he does his best to make her laugh. After the amusing antics of the minstrel's first song, the tone changes and the minstrel's music grows dark and theatrical. The Baron protests, preferring the comedy, but he's reassured by Hildegunda's father. The minstrels gather in a circle around the frowning minstrel. They whirl around him, and he slowly sinks from sight. The music grows more frantic. Suddenly, the minstrels burst apart like petals, and standing in the center of the room is a wolf. The villagers scream, but Hildegunda cries out that it is Engelhart. The wolf does not attack the crowd. It only lifts its head and begins to howl. The Baron screams at the wolf to stop, and he screams at the villagers to kill the wolf, but they only stare in horror. The Baron pulls his hair and gnashes his teeth. He rises and makes it to the center of the banquet hall, where he falls down in a heap of wedding silk. What emerges from the silk is another wolf. Engelhart has revealed the Baron's terrible secret for all to see. He was the renegade wolf that had terrorized the village. The Baron wolf escapes from the hall through the main archway. Engelhart leaps after him.
Aha! So now we know what's supposed to happen.
The villagers rally in a cry of horror and fury. One of the men grabs an axe from the wall and entreats the others to follow. They will stalk and kill the murderous wolf. The villagers storm through the archway. Hildegunda follows. The final scene takes place in the woods outside the village. The villagers hunt the two wolves. They follow the wolf tracks, singing of the apparent ferocity of the battle between the two wolves. Hildegunda answers the men's excitement with her own fear for Ingleheart's life. The crowd emerges into a clearing. There, the two wolves are engaged in a final deadly embrace. As they watch, Ingleheart triumphs and the Baron Wolf sinks to the ground and dies. Unfortunately, Ingleheart is mortally wounded. His curse has been broken by the Baron's death, but it is too late. Hildegunda sings her love to him, while the villagers pronounce him a great hero. Ingleheart dies, and all mourn in a sorrowful final aria.
Yep. That is what we're going to witness. Alrighty. Let's see. Now, is there anything else on this table?
I already have a program.
Ah. Let's take a look at our chandelier diagram.
Wagner's layout of the theater. I suppose that large X had something to do with the seating arrangements. It's in a nice line from the chandeliers.
Ah. Alright. Now, we need to go to the last door. Alrighty. What do we got here? Ah, gotta get opera glasses. I think that's going to be Grace's gown tonight. She's not going to wear that. Okay, what we got here? That's our to-do list. I think that's our to-do list.
Here's that list I made.
Now we need the theater seating chart. Let's see, is that it? There?
A seating chart. This might be useful.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's see. Okay, and there's Gabriel. Let's talk to him for a moment.
How do you feel?
Like someone's put broken glass in my brain.
I thought we'd have you back in Rittersburg by now. The Smiths are waiting for you there.
It's okay. Just stick me in a room somewhere. Are we ready for the test?
I'll check.
Could you see about some heat, Gracie? I'm really freezing in here. Are you cold?
Sure. It's cold. I'll see what I can do.
Good. You do that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get through all this in one episode. So it's probably going to be, like, this will probably end up being the penultimate episode. Alright, let's head back to the foyer. Now let's go through here.
We have 1 hour, people.
1 hour.
Herr Emmerding. Herr Emmerding.
Yes, Mr. Costello?
Herr Emmerding, I must again protest about my lack of vocalization in Act 3. I have not a single note until the transformation aria.
Now, how many times do we have to go over this? You are disguised as a silent minstrel.
I know that. But an aria, sung to the audience, off to one side, would be very effective. Hildegard has one.
Yes, but the audience is not supposed to know it's you until the transformation into a wolf. It's a surprise. You know, surprise?
I realize that's the way it's written. I simply disagree with its effectiveness.
Your opinion is noted.
Well, he's full of himself.
It's time to get ready, Georg.
You go. I want to go over this one more time.
He's nervous about it. I can't blame him. First time performing a lost Wagner opera?
Georg, I need you to promise me something.
What?
There may be some distractions tonight in the audience in Act 3. I need you to keep playing no matter what.
What distractions? What are you saying?
Don't get upset. It's just, well, it is opening night. The audience might be a bit rowdy, you know?
Are you serious?
That's an opera?
But we have extra security lined up, so if anything were to happen, it would be taken care of. So just, you know, keep playing.
Grace, I do not even want to know what you are talking about. This is a brand new Wagner opera. I am not going to stop the performance, even if Wagner himself comes floating out on stage.
Great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
Okay. Ah, the Chandelier Man.
Herr Silbermeyer, I know you're working as fast as you can, but we're opening in less than an hour. I really need to run through some music once you're done.
Why music? They will not fall down.
I'm sure they won't, but, look, you told me they'd be done by noon.
You are lucky that we could even make them in so little time. And then we drive them here special this morning.
I know that. I know. You've been great. It's just... Is everything at least going according to the diagram?
Yeah, we make it work.
What do you mean we make it work?
This diagram is not so good. We make changes, yeah?
Oh my God. Look, there weren't supposed to be changes. I told you to follow the diagram exactly.
Maybe in 1945 we followed diagram exactly. But today, we make changes.
What are you saying?
These measurements are not the same as today. Now, we make the chandeliers the same distance from each other, just as marked, but the distance from chandeliers to the walls, no, not the same.
Why aren't the measurements the same? This is the Wittelbacher Theater, isn't it?
Yeah, but not the same Wittelsbacher Theater. The bombs hit the first one. This one is very close, but smaller.
But everything looks so old.
Oh, they take the art and the wood and save it. Remake theater later, after the war.
Of course. Of course. How could I be so stupid? I'm a history major.
It's okay. The chandeliers work good. Same distance from each other, but just not two walls.
Yes. I'm sure you've done your best. Thank you.
Uh-oh. This is a slight hiccup. All right. Let's leave the theater. And let's see, what would our next spot be? We're going to go through here. And go through here. And from here, we are going to save the game. And next time around, we might be actually finishing this because we are literally getting towards the tail end of the game here. As always, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere, inviting you to subscribe to the channel and check out some of the other playthroughs I've done. And I've done a few for Sierra Games. As I said, I worked through Gabriel Knight, The Sins of the Father. And I've also played through games like Lighthouse the Dark Being, Shivers, Torrens Passage, and I plan to play through a bunch of other Sierra titles. I am also working my way through the Doom series, trying to play all the games that follow the same protagonist. Which means eventually I plan to get Doom 2016, the release 2016, and Doom Eternal. But I'm working on File Doom now, and once I get done with that, I will be working my way through Doom 64, and then the two I just mentioned. I am also working my way through several point-and-click adventures. I'm currently working on The Dark Side Detective, which is a fun game with nice humor, retro look to it. That's what makes it good, trust me. I am also working through the Tomb Raider series, currently working on Tomb Raider 3, as well as I'm working my way through the Sherlock Holmes series, currently working on the third game chronologically, but the seventh game released, Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. And I'm also working my way through Alien Isolation. I've also been working through several LucasArts titles, and I just recently finished The Curse of Monkey Island. So when we get to that in the lineup, it will be the next game and the last one available of the Monkey Island franchise, as the last game was a Telltale's game and apparently isn't available at the time of this recording. Anyhow, you take care, have a good one, and we'll save the game and say goodbye. Take care all and have a good one. Goodbye.